Hey, what's up guys, Atem Lobo here from Atem Lobo TV. So going live with a smartphone seems to be one of the biggest things that a lot of people have been doing as of late with the current movement control order or MCO. But if you really want to up your streaming quality by using DSLR cameras or better microphones or even multiple angles, well, this Blackmagic ATEM Mini can help you do it. And don't worry, I'll explain to you as simple as possible without sounding too technical, so you'll totally understand how to use this, so keep watching. First, let's start with what comes inside of the box. Firstly, there's the welcome and the get started guide. A mention about how the software SD card is not given to save the environment, and the DaVinci Resolve promo leaflet. Then you'll find the power adapter with all the different adapters depending on which country that you are from. Now, starting with the build quality, I have to say that I was really surprised on how small it is. I mean, I knew it was small since it's called Mini, but I didn't think it was this small, and it is even smaller than my computer keyboard. Now, as for the ports at the back, you'll first find two microphone ins which uses a 3.5mm cables and a total of 4 HDMI inputs, 2 input cameras or even gaming consoles, a single HDMI out to monitor your signal with an external screen, a USB-C or webcam out, which is a cool feature as it turns your inputs into a webcam output, and also an Ethernet port, which is also known as the ATEM control, which you will need to connect to devices which has the same network, and lastly the power adapter. Now, before going into the buttons, don't panic. I know it has lots of buttons and it can be overwhelming, but it isn't as scary as it looks. Now, this whole section specifically is to control the two 3.5mm microphone inputs. If you're getting an external microphone and connecting to these inputs, so if you're using those ports for the mics, then you can arm or turn on those inputs on and off, and the down and the up arrow is to adjust the volumes. And then right down here, there's another 3 more rows which has a similar size buttons where again, this is also audio controls based on the input, where the first 2 columns are for input 1, where AFV stands for audio follow video, which means that if you ever change your input, it will automatically change to that audio source. Then there's a reset button to reset all the audio adjustments, and then there's a button to leave the audio turned on or off, and the volume adjustments as well. Then the buttons representing 1 till 4 are all the inputs based on what exactly that you have connected through the ATEM Mini. Now, looking further, there's still to insert images like lower thirds or logos where you can add it within the ATEM Mini software. And then there's black, which actually turns the screen to black. Then above towards the right, there is 6 buttons over there, where this is the picture-in-picture mode, where the first 4 buttons is to select the different positions of the picture-in-picture mode. Then there's the on-off button to activate the picture-in-picture mode. Then towards the right is the key mode, where this is for those of you who uses green screen, which I personally don't, so I leave it off. And then going all the way down, there is the cut button to literally do some jump cuts between your sources. Then if you hit the auto button, it will be defaulted to mix, which is like a cross dissolve effect if you change between your sources. So instead of jump cuts, it'll do the cross dissolve effect based on the duration, which are represented to the 4 buttons right above the cut area, where you can select between 0.5, 1, 1.5 and up to 2 seconds of transition time. Then above the mix button, there are different effects from wipe and squeeze effects. Then there's also the dip button, which is like fade to white. Then finally, F2B stands for fade to black, which usually fades the video to black, which signifies the end of the video. There, not that complicated, right? Told ya! So just before going forward, do give this video a nice big thumbs up if you find this video helpful so far. That would be very much appreciated. Now, before talking about how I personally set this up, I'm going to go through with what exactly you can get within this software and the interface itself. Now, the software can be downloaded at Blackmagic Design's website, which I'll link down below, so don't worry. At the time of this video, the latest version is version 8.2. Now, I'm not going to dive in so much into the software as it will make this video really long, but this is the overview of the software and exactly what I use during my setup as well. So the first screen tab is a virtual version where you have the same controls of the ATEM Mini hardware itself, where I don't usually touch this since I'm using the hardware itself to control this part. And then the tab on the top right is the area where you can have further adjustments if you want to dive deeper into each settings and transitions under the palettes, media player and output, where again I did not even touch this, but if you want to, you can always take your time to play around with that. Then the next tab is called the media tab, where under that you can insert logos, lower thirds and still images, where once you hit the still button on the ATEM Mini itself, that's when the images are triggered. Then the next tab is an audio tab, where you have a nice little virtual mixer which was super handy, as you can monitor your audio levels, adjust your EQ, dynamics, panning and other audio related adjustments, which was very neat as it eliminates the need of having another hardware mixer. Then finally, the final tab is called the camera tab, where this is a brand new feature for the 8.2 version of the software, where you can adjust the color settings directly through the app with your connected cameras to perform autofocus and many other adjustments. But please keep in mind that this adjustment is only available for Blackmagic cameras, which I have, so this is a neat adjustment. So if you guys are wondering whether or not you can connect other cameras to this ATEM Mini, well, of course you can, but it's just that you can't use the final tab, which is to control the cameras, just like how you can control the Blackmagic cameras. But if you guys are planning to get the Blackmagic cameras, there's so many advantages of using a Blackmagic camera with the ATEM Mini, as these controls, as mentioned earlier, is really great, as there's also the on-air indicator on the camera screen when the camera input is triggered, and when you switch, it also gives a red color right in front of the camera, similar to what you see in live camera productions. Alright, so there are many ways to set this up, but I'll show you how exactly I set up, which again is very easy and simple. Now first, you'll need to plug in the power, where it turns off by itself, where there's no power or switch. Next, plug in the USB-C cable to a laptop, as it is compatible with Windows and Mac, which by now you have already downloaded and installed the software. Next, the first input, for this case I'll use my Blackmagic camera, where I'll connect the HDMI out to input 2. Now the reason why I did not input it to input 1, because at this point in time my HDMI cable was a bit short, so I'm going to buy a brand new one soon. Now as for the second source or the second input is my MacBook Pro screen, so I'll connect the HDMI out for my laptop to input 3 for me to do like a screencast when I read comments or even show stuff when I do YouTube live. Then finally, I connect the HDMI out to an external monitor just for me to see how all the transitions and all the areas work as an output signal. Then as for my microphone, the good news is that the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera comes with a very good preamp, so it's really amazing for me to just connect directly from my microphone to the camera through the mini XLR output, since the output of the camera is through HDMI as mentioned, so it will transmit the audio and also the video through that single signal. So once all is set up, here's a quick way to connect through YouTube Live. Now once you are at the YouTube Studio app, then select Go Live, then create a title. Next, you can select unlisted, public or private, which I would advise to just start off going private instead of going public, just to get a hang of everything, which even for me, I went on private for 3 times before actually going on YouTube Live. Then before hitting Go Live, select the Blackmagic Design for the camera menu and also for the audio as well. So once all of that is done, you can go live. And if you guys are interested in getting the ATEM Mini, I will leave a link of all the resellers here in Malaysia, which are distributed officially by 3 Dots Distribution, and I also leave a direct link for you all to get one, as it's going for 1,650 ringgit. There's also an advanced version of an ATEM Mini Pro, which is just out right now, which has some additional features like having the ability to record your stream directly through an external SSD through USB-C, live stream with Ethernet cable itself, and also the multi-view output via HDMI to even step your love for streaming to a whole new level. So yes, that's my review and the setup for the Blackmagic ATEM Mini switcher, and for me, this is now my essential tool to do high quality live streaming. Having just doing one just recently earlier, I'm surely going to do more. So subscribe to Adam Lobo TV by hitting the button over here. Of course, that would be very much appreciated if you guys found this video helpful. But if you guys have any questions to ask me, feel free to ask me at the comment section below, and do let me know what you guys think of the Blackmagic ATEM Mini. My name is Adam Lobo, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.